All right. I think we have it now. I don't know what. This isn't my first time using Zoom, but it looks like it is now, doesn't it? All right. So thank you all for joining. I'm Justin Golston. I'm going to be your professor for this course. Um, this is a course that I developed last year. So this has been this course has went through its first iteration about a few months ago. So we did lessons learned based on the last semester because it was the first time we ran it. This is a brand new program if you're not aware. So we're including a lot of good stuff. We're including a lot of good current research. Um, just to give you some of my background, I'll just pull up I'll just pull up a presentation that I just did. So I did send a link to a presentation that I literally just got off of like 30 minutes ago at a conference. So I have taught supply chain management, project and supply chain management at a number of different institutions. I have also created sustainability programs for a number of institutions, including Texas A&M, Penn State, North Carolina Wesleyan College, and I've also created courses in emerging technologies such as artificial intelligence and blockchain. I just created I would say maybe the second graduate capstone course in blockchain in the U.S. For the University of Cumberland. So that is one of the few programs that offers a full graduate degree in blockchain. You'll get a lot of blockchain certificates, but University of Cumberland is one of the only ones that actually offer a master's in blockchain. So I just developed the capstone course, the last course in that program, and I think we have about 70 students that are within that program alone. So we're building a number of blockchain developers. So that's one thing I'm very passionate about. And so I mean, with me, I blend. I would say that I blend supply chain management, I blend emerging technologies such as blockchain and artificial intelligence, and I blend sustainability. So hopefully you see that throughout as we go through this class. And another thing is that I was just so this just is hot off the press. So Thinkers 360 just posted a board where I was identified as the top global thought leader in corporate social responsibility. Also, I was identified as the top leader within sustainability. So sustainability, corporate social responsibility, that's what I do. So I have a number of other projects I'm working on. I'm working on a fashion institute. I mean, look at this space. Within the UK, where we're developing a sustainable fashion program, where I'm interviewing a number of leaders around the world. Um, I'm working with individuals from Unilever. I'm working with Sherry Highness. So you'll see Sherry Highness this week within the course content. She's my right hand lady within the industry. She was just been named partner at IBM. And reach out to her. Reach out to her on LinkedIn. Look up the Supply Chain Revolution. That is her podcast. She has tens of thousands of followers on that podcast. I forgot exactly what episode that we talked about diversity and inclusion, but it was one of the top, I think, top three podcasts within that supply chain revolution. I was recently dethroned by Yossi Sheffi, the director of sustainable supply chains at MIT. He has a two part interview, which is very good. He's not holding anything back. He's talking about how the education system is broken. He's talking about how MIT is broken. He's talking about a number of individuals from the industry and the things that we have to do from a sustainability perspective and supply chain perspective. So look up Supply Chain Revolution. That's Sherry's podcast. There's a lot of amazing interviews on there. So as it pertains to, you know what? We don't have that many people. All right, real quick. We have like 2 hours, so we're gonna take a break. We're gonna take a break around probably 7:30 or so. I gotta check. But real quick, let's start at the top. So I'm just gonna go down this list. It's alphabetical. We're gonna start name, industry, why you selected Georgetown supply chain program, and what do you want to get out of this class. So AMATSHCK, whoever that is.
Allie. So I currently work at Hain Celestial. It's an organic food company. I work in the supply planning department. And I joined this program just because I think to really further my career, I need to get a better understanding of the kind of different facets of supply chain, like transportation and other things like that.
Okay. But what do you do with that organic food company? Sorry, I missed that one.
I'm in supply planning, so I deal with all the
Okay.
manufacturing facilities.
Perfect. All right. Thank you. Welcome. Kaz, is that how you say that?
Yeah, that's how you say it. Hey, I'm Cass. I currently work at ADP in technology, kind of like technology consulting, and I joined the program because I'm trying to pivot into supply chain.
Okay. What made you want to pivot into supply chain? I'm always curious because everybody asks me, like, how'd you get into supply chain?
Yeah. Actually, I talked to my cousin and aunt who are both in it, and they just said such good things that I started researching it, and I'm super interested.
And I will say it's very lucrative.
That's good.
So you'll see the interview with Abe Ashkenazi in here where he talks about, you know, how the supply chain industry is in comparison with, you know, the general business industry.
Mm-hmm.
So what's your goals in this class? It's just in this CSR class.
Yeah, I've taken a couple of CSR classes in college, so I think just like really specifying that to supply chain.
What school did you go to? I'm just curious because
Skidmore College. It's a small liberal arts school in upstate New York.
And they had sustainability classes or CSR classes?
Yeah, they did. They had a couple.
Interesting. I always ask because I'm at Penn State and I'm fighting to get CSR classes in there.
Really? Yeah, it's probably the liberal arts coming out, you know.
Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. Chiwan?
Hi. Hi, everyone. Yeah, my name is Chaewon Moon. I'm currently at ZT Systems, where we design hyperscale compute and storage solutions for customers, and I'm in the supply chain team in a bigger window, but in customer operations side, where we develop the demand planning and supply planning, and we match those and the reason why I joined Georgetown was to expand my knowledge, because there was a internal movement of the roles, and I'm moving over to supply planning from a demand planning side. So I'll be handling more material assessment and procurement from going forward. So wanted to learn the CSR in the perspective, because I've never really taken CSR courses in my previous schools. So yeah, excited to join the class here.
Excellent. Welcome.
Thank you.
My lighting is terrible. It's been a bad day, technology wise. It's been terrible. All right. Sorry. Anyway, not your problem. All right. So, Faneva? Is that how I say that?
Yeah, it's Faneva.
That's
correct. Okay, so my name is Faneva. I work at Ryder. I'm an accounting coordinator, so I focus more on like FBO deals and just taking care of that. I specifically chose to come here to do my supply chain degree because I was at UM. I did my MBA. I took a couple like administrative courses, got my Six Sigma, and then like took a sustainable supply chain course, and then I just wanted to come back and specialize in that specifically.
Interesting. So U of M had a sustainable supply chain course, right? Specifically?
Yeah.
Interesting. We are so behind. All right. Yeah. Masheed? Is that how I say it?
Yes, it's Masheed.
See, I'm on the roll. I just jinxed myself.
No, it's a hard name to pronounce, so you're good. So I'm Mashid Darabi. I have 11 years of experience in procurement and logistics in cosmetic industries. It's been a couple of years that I decided to stay home and, taking care of my baby. So I've been out of business, and that was the reason that, I decided to go back to school, to like kind of update all my information. And also I wanted to learn more about planning and other aspects of supply chain. And that's the reason.
What do you want to get out of this CSR class?
I beg your pardon?
What do you want to get out of this CSR class?
Well, as far as the as I said, I'm mostly what I've done was in procurement part, and I'm not very familiar with the planning parts, so I'm going to mostly focus on planning because that's the area that I want to learn more about.
Yeah, so now we're going to talk a lot about that in terms of, planning and sourcing is kind of the first step in this whole,
Yeah.
CSR strategy, because it begins with the suppliers. So
Yeah.
we'll talk quite a bit about that.
Sounds good.
Matthew?
Yeah, my name is Matt Wagner. I am actually currently at Penn State right now. I work in athletics here at Penn State. So the reason yeah, Penn State. The reason I wanted to join Georgetown was I actually was a supply chain major in undergrad. It just so happens that the job offer I got was in sports, but I'm looking to pivot into supply chain. So being from the DC area, hoping to, probably go home eventually once we can get back in person. But I'm just kind of looking to get out of this class. I took kind of like a couple other people. I took some ethics courses in college, but it was more like generalized for business. So I'm kind of looking forward to seeing how it is specialized in supply chain.
So you went to Smil? You were at Smil?
No, I went to Duquesne in Pittsburgh.
Okay.
And I got a job out here in athletics when I graduated.
Okay. Excellent. Welcome. Yeah, we'll talk. Yep. We'll talk about Penn State.
Yeah, for sure.
All right. So who we got? Who's next? Nazila?
Yeah. So my name now. Actually, I studied public administration, but I worked in all the time. I worked in a commercial department in Iran because I moved here 2 years ago. And in there, I was working as a logistics specialist, or I was working port, or let's say foreign purchasing specialist. So the reason I this major is just because I found this connected to what I was doing before, and I want to update myself. I want to study about that, and but right now the industry that I'm working in is actually education. So after moving to the US, I started to be a math teacher. So but because I was thinking that maybe I can change my major, but I thought that I'm more interested to continue that field. So because of the reputation of the Georgetown University and this major, I picked this university and this major.
It's gonna be one of the best in the world.
Yeah.
Did anyone happen to see that award-winning marketing video about the program? All right, guess not. Anyway, Celine.
Hello, my name is Celine, and I'm currently located in Nairobi, Kenya. I did foreign languages and international trade in my undergrad, and I worked for the whole of last year. I worked as a transportation planner, and I decided to do supply chain because I wanted to gain more knowledge and experience in the field. And I'm doing this class because I did an ethics class in college for a little bit, but it was very general, and since I'm gonna be in the supply chain field, I think it would be great if I did like an ethics class, especially for supply chain.
So you're currently in Nairobi?
Yes.
All right, excellent. Yeah, we're starting to speak to people in Nigeria about developing a blockchain application out there. So I might reach out.
Okay. Thank you.
Oh, so do people depend a lot on digital wallets and digital currencies? Like not like cryptocurrencies, but like
Mhm.
digital wallets and things like that, because they're unable to bank.
No,
Okay.
it's not that advanced yet here.
Okay. Appreciate it. Selfish research. All right. So Sarah.
Hello, my name is Sarah. I currently live in Texas, but I work for FedEx, but I work with FedEx remotely. I was in Memphis for 3 years out of college, and I work on their healthcare solutions team. So right now doing product management on the vaccine distribution globally. And so the reason that I wanted to take this course and also supply chain management, I'm from the DC area, and it's likely that because my fiance is in the military, we'll end up back in that area. So I want to have a connection to DC and also kind of expand my potential at the company with FedEx, but also learn about other facets of the industry to see if there's other areas that I might want to go into. If we ever move or, other opportunities arise. Oh, I think you're on mute.
I would say the supply chain discipline is very, 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 very broad in nature, right?
Mm.
So there's a number of different opportunities that you can have, and I would say that every single organization has some component of supply chain within it, right? So that's why, and I love this discipline because there's never a dull moment, and I would say that supply chain management saved the world in March, and Amazon saved the world in March. If it wasn't for Amazon, we would be in a whole heap of trouble right now, right? And my thing is, and I always explain to people that Amazon used to be a bookseller, and they've used supply chain management to be one of the largest companies in the world, right? And you know how they did it? They developed these supply chain networks. They have all these distribution centers, right? But they leverage technology to make that happen, right? They increased their transparency and communication with FedEx and UPS, right? And you'll if you look in the news, you don't hear much about it, but Amazon just bought a boatload of planes, boatload of freight carriers. So now FedEx and UPS are going to be in trouble because Amazon's taking over all of those packages that's making FedEx and UPS millions of dollars. So that's one. I mean, it's not going to shut them down, but it's going to take a lot of revenue away from them. I'm not sure how long it's going to take for those planes to be built, but just think of what percentage of revenue that Amazon makes up for FedEx and UPS. So that's the things we think about when we think about supply chain management. But that's not in this discussion. That's at y'all's 7 to 7 o'clock call in supply chain call. All right, so I'll stop with that. All right, so how many people were in that class? 2? Okay. All right, let me see here. So now, all right, do y'all see my screen? All right, let's see here. So we're just going to go through the syllabus really quick. Then we're going to go through the first week. So this may not take that long, but please, please, please ask questions. That's what this is for, right? If you have a question, your peers have a question. That's the way it always goes, right? So as we walk through the syllabus, again, 520 to 750. It depends on what your engagement is. It depends on the questions you have. If you're not engaged, we're going to go through 7 to 750 on the dot. If you're engaged and we get through the content, we get out early, right? Each week. All right. I absolutely despise, especially in graduate school. I hate when people don't ask questions because you all have experience in the industry, right? So I want you to have questions, and especially in graduate school, don't take, and this is for any class, don't take a class just for the sake of getting a grade. Don't take a class for the sake of getting that piece of paper. That's all it is. All it is a piece of paper, because you have tens of thousands of people that are getting a degree just like you are right now. So you have to be able to learn this content, and you have to be able to apply this content and make it applicable to your organization. And you just told me your organization, but you have to give me a specific example so I can tie it back to my experience. I spent 20 years in this industry implementing these systems. I've spent 20 years in the industry as a management consultant in the supply chain industry. I've seen the good, bad, and terrible. That's why I'm so passionate about sustainability, you know. And if you look, and I can say this now because I'm not in the industry. If you listen to some of my podcasts, I say that when I was in the industry, these consulting companies were trying to muzzle me. Whenever I was trying to identify, when I was trying to show the inequalities, when I was trying to show the unethical practices, when I was trying to show the environmental concerns in these organizations, just because they were paying these companies $1 million for consulting. But what was the true cost? They are polluting, their environments, and now you have people getting sick. Now you have people not be able to go to work. Now you have kids getting sick. That's the true cost. And now these organizations are letting it happen. So that's why I created this class, and you're going to see in some of my lectures where I don't hold back, because whenever you hold back, you're getting a situation that we're in now. You know, and we talk a lot about diversity and inclusion, and I'll tell you right now that if you're uncomfortable about diversity and inclusion and talking about diversity and inclusion, you're part of the problem. But the thing is, the most important thing is it's not all about race. There's more than that, and there's bigger problems in other parts of the world than it is in the U.S. They're making a big deal about what happened in D.C. Yeah, it was a huge deal. But stuff like that happens all the time around the world, right? So you have to, and I'm talking about myself. I'm primarily talking about myself, where you have to take the blinders off. You have to take the U.S. blinders off, and you have to look at the supply chain. You have to look at the world as a whole to see how your decisions as future leaders are going to impact people around the world. Right. And that's what's very important. And we talk about that throughout this entire program, because when I was speaking with Professor Dunn, she taught me a lot, because she was a VP for a number of years at HMS Host, so she's also an expert in CSR, so if you have questions on CSR, specific questions, you can reach out to her as well. But I mean, my whole point is you have to open your mind, and that's the whole thing with grad school, right? This is a different world. It's not difficult. It's not difficult if you're disciplined and you're able to apply the content to your real work environment. You're not going to have a problem, and you're going to immediately demonstrate value to your organizations and leaders of your organizations. Okay, I'll shut up with that now. Here we go. So again, each Tuesday, 5:20 to 7:50. It's all up to you based on the engagement, how long we go. So in terms of the course objectives, we're going to talk about global corporate social responsibility initiatives. Yes, we say the term corporate social responsibility. That's the industry term. That's the buzzword. I don't like it. I say social responsibility. I take the corporate out of corporate social responsibility. You're gonna hear me say that 500 times this semester, because when I was teaching at Davenport University, when I was teaching this the last semester here at Georgetown, the students think that it's the Fortune 500 company's responsibility to drop $1 million in a CSR initiative for everyone to adopt. That's not the case. Because if Unilever, I did an interview, I'll send it sometime this month. Unilever dropped $1 million on a CSR initiative. If I'm a $10 million company, I can't do that. What Peter McMorris talked about on my interview, I can't do that. I don't have $1 million to drop on the CSR initiative. So whenever I say CSR, it's going to be social responsibility because it's everyone's responsibility. It's the small companies, it's the medium companies, it's the restaurant right down the street that can be sustainable, right? They can look at their inventory levels and they can say, okay, let me calculate based on my history, or let me use a lean process to eliminate my waste, eliminate the food I throw out every day, right? It's as simple as that. So if we have that same mindset within our communities, we have that same mindset with our small organizations, we can have a sustainable environment. We can have a sustainable world, you know? But again, it's just not about the environmental, it's the societal as well. It's the economic as well. How are you? So Amazon, how is Amazon giving back? How is this $1 trillion company giving back to the people that made Bezos rich? He's out here building rockets just because Elon's building rockets. That money can go elsewhere, in my opinion. Why we need two billionaires building rockets? To me, it makes no sense. Whenever there's bigger problems in the world, you know. So, and another thing is, if you disagree with me, let me know. I love it, because that's what makes me better. I did 5 TED Talks, and those TED Talks came from somebody checking me on blockchain, right? A director of operations at John Deere. I was teaching at Jack Welch Management Institute, executive MBA program. He said, Dr. Golston, I seen this one article in it was in Wall Street Journal or HBR or something, talking about blockchain going to be integrated in supply chain management. What do you know about that? I said, let me get back to you. So I did my research. I reached out to Cornell because I seen they had a certificate program, or I work at Cornell for some postdoc work, right? You know, so now I do most of my work. Now I do a lot of emerging technology work in blockchain. Again, it came from a simple student question. So I say, if you disagree with anything, again, these are my thoughts, but those thoughts come from experience. It comes from research. So if you disagree with it, let me know. I want you to disagree with it. That's how we have a conversation. That's how we innovate. That's how we innovate, right? So I please ask you to do that. All right. So, and if I'm talking too much, just say time out. All right. So, you know, we're going to talk about CSR initiatives, you know, for organizations. There's a lot of different initiatives. Again, we're going to talk about the triple bottom line and things like that, among other topics. We're going to talk about how is sustainability measured? You know, what metrics can we use in terms of sustainability? I did a podcast called entitled "The Logistics of Logistics." So you can, I think it's on Google Podcasts. I think you can look it up. I think it's on there. But we spent a good week and a half of figuring out what metrics can the trucking industry use to measure sustainability. We had a hard time finding them. So that's why we stress, you know, the key metrics of measuring sustainability within organizations. We also look at the sustainability reports within social responsibility. Now, I have since creating this class, I have spoken at a number of conferences. There's one specific conference in China, you know, my title was Auditing Sustainability in Supply Chain Management. because these reports that we're going to review, this GRI report that you're going to review in this class, these are just frameworks. These are just guides for organizations. They're not audited by third parties. Most of them are not audited by third parties. So my argument now is that, are these sustainability reports just a check the box thing? If they're not audited, I can put in whatever I want to on these reports, right? So we need to have a process in place. We need to have a procedure in place to audit these sustainability reports, these CSR reports, right? So we're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about those reports, and we're going to see, you know, how those CSR initiatives are assessed. We're going to also say, you know, how are these supplier partnerships important? You know, so whenever you are sourcing, you know, your suppliers, whenever you're evaluating your suppliers, when you're measuring your suppliers, you know, why is this report important? Why is it important to understand what their sustainability activities are? Also, we're going to look at the CSR trends. You know, so a current trend now, you know, that's emerged within the last, that's upcoming is the $5 trillion plan for the Biden administration, you know, where they're going to invest in clean energy. My daughter just woke, she's crying. She's been fussy all night. But the multi-trillion dollar plan that the Biden administration is going to implement for clean energy, you know, over the next 10 years, I believe. Right. So although you have people who don't agree with Biden, you know, for those business owners, once those green energy plans start, those grants start coming out, they're gonna love Biden then, because they're gonna get money, they're gonna get tax breaks. Right. I don't care. Because if you're making a positive impact on the world, I don't care what side you're on. Right. And no one else should. If you're making a positive impact from a sustainability perspective, my thing is we're all in this together, you know? So now that's one thing we're going to talk about on the trends that are impacting CSR and supply chain management. Also, this week we're going to talk about the ethical considerations of sustainability. And you know, the ethical considerations are going to be different, you know, based on what part of the world you're in. You know, you have situations such as bribery. You know, in Mexico, you have bribery in China that's expected because it's their culture. You know, if I'm going to give you millions of dollars in an agreement, I want a nice gift for that. You know, so that's the thought process of leaders within China. You know, also whenever it's expected for leaders of organizations to lobby with political parties, you know, and give money and contribute to political parties. You know, so again, that's the culture. So we're going to look at those ethical situations. We're going to look at those ethical considerations from an organizational and operational perspective. And then we're going to also look at their stakeholder, you know, how the stakeholder considerations come into play from a CSR perspective. So, you know, stakeholders or anyone is going to be impacted by, you know, the organization's decisions of the organizations. So we're going to talk about that as well. Any questions? All right. So this course has 8 modules. We split up those modules. We've split up those modules in 2-week buckets. We have some modules that are 1 week, but for the most part, there's going to be 2 weeks per module. Also, we're going to go through all of the assignments within this course. Participation. If you show up in these Zoom courses, if you participate, you know, if you ask questions as it pertains to your industry, you know, and how we can apply it, you'll have no problem. I'm giving you 10%, I should say 10%. The midterm is a supplier code of conduct. I would say that although it's not required, I had a few students last semester to work with their organizations to see if they had a supplier code of conduct. If they didn't, they worked at their organizations, developed it for this midterm, and then our companies implemented it. You know, so that's one thing. That's one. Ryder probably already has one. You know, so but you know, some smaller organizations may not have a supplier code of conduct, or you know, yes, I didn't do this last semester, you know, if your company had one, but if you have one and your leadership says, yeah, this can be revised, you know, then we can talk about that. All right. You know, but there needs to be a significant change. You know, you can't add a paragraph and submit it and expect full credit. You know, so that's one thing. And so if you speak with your leadership and they feel that it needs to be reviewed and revised, then, you know, reach out to me and then we can assess that revision and see what the amount of that revision will be, and if you can do that for your grade. So you have a team presentation. I'm going to split up every. Well, you know what? I'll give you all the chance to speak with each other and decide if y'all who wants to be in what team. I'll let you all decide that first, and then if without that, then as moving forward from that, then I'll put everybody else in teams. So you're going to have a greenwashing presentation where you're going to see where you know organizations are performing unethical practices, where organizations are saying they're sustainable or green when they're really not. A lot of Volkswagen being the main one, you know, saying that, you know, they're green and environmentally friendly and things like that, where, you know, they got popped by West Virginia University. So and I think that given you've seen an emergence, you know, in these sustainability discussions, in these SR discussions, you're going to see more greenwashing stories emerge, because everyone sees that it's a hot topic. Everyone thinks that they can capitalize from it. But then you have these non-government organizations that are looking out specifically for these greenwashing, you know, events. So you're going to see more greenwashing emerge, given the increase in awareness of sustainability. Also, you'll have some team assignments outside of the greenwashing presentation. You have a case study where you're going to review Patagonia. Patagonia is one of my favorite companies in terms of sustainability. And then you're also going to look at the sustainability perspective from the poultry industry. So that's another case. That's not Professor Dunn's chicken case. That was her favorite case. I don't know why, but she said that had to be in there. So then also mandatory disclosures you're going to have as a group presentation. But I would say that my favorite presentation, I have used this final project in a number of graduate courses, and with slight tweaks, I will say, where you are going to take everything, bring everything together from a CSR perspective, and you're going to essentially create a presentation. You're going to create a presentation for the Association of Supply Chain Management. So again, you're going to see my interview with Abe Eskenazi, CEO of ASCM, you know, and you're going to frame this final course presentation like you're going to present that your company is in the running for, you know, a CSR award for the ASCM. So you're going to take everything you've learned throughout the class and create that in a final presentation. Any questions in terms of the assignments? All right. So here's the grading scale. Attendance policy, as I said, I mean, if you attend these sessions, you'll have no problem. If you participate in these sessions, you'll have no problem. If you know, if life happens, if you know you're unable to meet on these sessions, we're going to record these. So, but I mean, just don't pop up for this class and then pop up for the last class and expect your participation. That's not happening. You know, so, but I mean, if you're going to miss a certain session, you know, here and there, that's going to be no problem. All right. So 8 to 10 hours a week for the course content, and also for the submission policy. Although I can't grant extensions on discussion post, if you're going to be a couple days late for your assignment submissions, just let me know. You never have a problem. All right, just let me know. Communication. If you communicate with me, no problem. All right, Chiwan, I did get an email about that textbook too. I gotta check. I'll check that and then I'll address it. I'll address it once we get through the syllabus.
Thank you.
Did you try to do the interlibrary loan? Did you try that?
Yeah, I was on a wait list as you mentioned. So
Was anybody able to get the book from the library?
I did. But my other book was back ordered, so I don't know.
But you bought it, right? I
think it was you had to rent it. Or no, actually I might have bought it. Never mind. But it's through the Georgetown bookstore. Is this one, right?
Yes. All right. Yeah, I got forgot that. It's in my once I get through the syllabus, I'll check my email and I'll respond to it. I'll address it, I would say.
Thank you.
Citation policy. Please, we're still on the 7th edition of APA. I mean, you're in a graduate program. Please ensure that you're using correct APA citations. I'm a stickler for it. It's not going to have to be perfect APA citations, but don't use Wikipedia. You're in graduate school. Don't use Wikipedia. You can go on Google Scholar and you can find exactly what you want. So for example, you can go to the Georgetown library, but let me see here. You can see my screen, right? Because when I switch tabs, sometimes it gets a little crazy. So for example, if I go to Google Scholar, the greatest tip, I'm going to give you a tip and it's free. Whether you're in Google Scholar, whether you're in normal Google, if you just simply type quotations, it'll give you that exact search term, right? This goes, like I said, this goes for Google Scholar, this goes for regular Google, it goes for whatever. So I don't know if Julian thing from Georgetown's on there. And you can provide as many terms as you want within that search criteria. So if I did you see how it's filtering? So if I do supply chain CSR, 55,000, right? But if I do sustainability, it's going to further refine those searches. Okay. Now, most important thing. Now you can search Google Scholar and you're going to get a number of different open access documents. So if you see a PDF like this, that's open access. I don't have to be signed in anywhere, right? But you can see I have a fine full text at Georgetown, at GU. That's Georgetown, right? So the way in which you link the entire Georgetown library to Google Scholar is I go to these 3 lines here. And if I go to settings, and if I go to library links, and if you type in Georgetown, then you're going to get Georgetown University. It's already here, so that's why I'm not showing up. But see now, Georgetown Law also showed up. You see this, but yours, Georgetown University, find full text at GU. Once you do that, you click that and you hit save. And then you're going to be able to see, that's Harrisburg. You're going to be able to see those Georgetown links. So that pretty much links you to Georgetown Library. And you don't have to go to Georgetown Library anymore, because you have the entire Georgetown Library in addition to Google Scholar, right? When I wrote my dissertation, this is the only place I stayed to find my resources, because I had my university library and I had Google Scholar. You know, so whenever you're looking up any resources for the class, I would say go Google Scholar. Again, everybody, some people don't like Google Scholar. I loved it. It saved me tons of time and some money and tons of money. So that's why I am biased against it. All right, so that's the citations. Make sure you track all your citations. Oh, another thing. Oh, but wait, there's more. So Also in Google Scholars, let's just say that you liked this article here that you found at Georgetown. If you hit these two quotations, it gives you your APA format right there. Just copy and paste it. Okay. And I mean, for me, that's good enough. You don't have to have perfect APA formatting. So you can go into Google Scholar, hit those two quotations, pull that in, and there's your reference. Okay. So also turn it in. Make sure you don't plagiarize. I don't think we're gonna have a problem here. I hadn't had a problem with plagiarism in a long time, so don't break that streak. Communication, as I said before, as long as you communicate with me, if you're going to be a few days late in your assignments, if you communicate, you're not going to have any problem. Okay. I can't grant extensions in terms of the discussions, but I can for assignments. All right. Also, in communications for announcements, I don't submit announcements for the sake of submitting announcements. I send announcements whenever there's content I like to share, when there's nuggets I like to share, whenever there's job postings I like to share. I posted the conference I spoke at today. It's going to be things like that, things that are going to be beneficial in terms of corporate social responsibility, in terms of supply chain management. That's what I post. Okay. Some people like the weekly communications. This is a weekly class, so I'm not going to fill up my announcement box. I'm not going to fill up your email with meaningless emails that you can see on the screen. Okay. So that's just me. If you want those weekly emails that outline the course the course and give you a brief of the exact same thing I'm going to tell you in class, let me know and I'll do it. Okay. Normally, in feedback and assignments, I try to get them in within a week. Sometimes I'll get busy and things like that, and I'll be a couple days late. All right, I will say that. Netiquette, I mean, just be human. This is treat this classroom like you would your office environment, your work environment, right? You are communicating with your peers. You never know what your peers are working on. You never know what potential projects your peers are working on. And I say this to my undergraduate students and my graduate students. This program's a 2-year interview, right? Because people ask me all the time, if I know somebody in procurement, if I know somebody in forecasting with AI experience, if I know somebody in, a specific healthcare sector, if I know somebody who used to work with Merck or something like that, So, for example, I had one of my classes at Penn State. The CEO of a blockchain startup came in and spoke. And I called out one of my students that had a lot of ERP experience. He asked him a few questions in front of the entire class. The student answered it. He got hired 3 days later. It's an interview. And I'm going to bring people into this class because people already told me they wanted to come speak. I got one lady from, I think she might speak at, is anybody taking finance this semester? Yeah. So there's a lady, she reached out to me after I spoke at a conference for a fintech company, so she wants to come speak here at Georgetown. So she's going to come speak in a fintech class. She's not coming for giggles. She's coming to recruit. And I say that to my undergrads, and I say that to you all. These people are coming to recruit, right? So just like I explained to my undergraduate students, whenever these people are coming in, you know more about that company than the people who started the doggone thing. That's your differentiator. I've seen it time and time again. Right? It's my first rodeo. I'm just throwing you some nuggets here. You can take it for what it's worth. So Connecticut, again, treat this like your work environment. Okay. Withdrawal incompletes. If you have an issue in terms of incompletes, if you have a situation come up, we're still in this pandemic phase. So if there's any kind of issue, please let me know. We'll accommodate. I've been very flexible since March to a lot of people. And if you think that if someone gets sick, God forbid someone gets sick, let me know. We'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. All right. Don't freak, with family comes first for everybody. Don't freak out. Don't try to kill yourself. If something happens with your family, just let me know. And we'll push it a week. Okay, no problem. Accommodation policy, if there needs to be some accommodation, let me know. Technical requirements, we're all on Zoom, so we should be good. I haven't seen any flickering, so we're good. And that's it. All right. So 6:18. Dang. We've already been going for an hour. I've been running my mouth for an hour. Any questions? Nope.
I have a question about the discussion posts. Are those weekly, and do you have to post the first one by Thursday? I know in the other class, that's one of the requirements.
First post by Thursday, 2 peer responses by Sunday.
Okay.
And I think, let me see here. There's not one every week. So I used to hate that when I was in class. I was like, Professor Dunn, I'm not doing it every week. I'm not doing it every week. Let's see here. So, also I'm releasing these things. These are getting released. These are getting released periodically. They're not, everything's not available. We're going to release like 2 weeks in advance, just to let you know. So introduction, you all introduce yourselves. What? I still didn't do it. Give me a second. Discussions, yeah. Well, we don't really see. We don't have that many discussions in. Are you in the asynchronous class or the synchronous class or the live? You're in the live class, right? Weekly class?
The live class, yeah.
Yeah, so we don't have that many discussions because we're going to do all of our discussions within the class itself. So
Okay.
you all don't have that many discussions, where the asynchronous class, they have a few discussions. That's why I say that it's a little bit different. Yeah. So in terms of the modules, any other questions?
I have a question, Professor. So
I'm
on
your point after that book out. All right, go ahead.
This is Jaewon, and I'm in the asynchronous class where we don't meet, right, on a weekly basis.
Yeah.
But I was invited to this section, for a intro call. Do
Yes.
I need to join the call every week going forward, or?
You can join. No, it's for you. If anyone's in an asynchronous class, this is completely optional. But because the classes are a little different, it's like you're gonna have more discussion posts than a synchronous class, right?
I see.
So the exercises we're gonna do live. You're not gonna have to do. But
Okay.
the thing is, you get the lecture.
Right.
Right? You get the content. Right? That's going to assist you. Now, that's up to you.
So I could still join the weekly class and complete the discussions on my own.
You can still do the weekly class, but the thing is, like I said, we're going to be doing exercises that aren't in your class.
Right.
But again, I'm saying, long as you understand that.
Yeah. Okay. Got it.
And if you want to do double the work, but again, it's not for a grade. It's about understanding the content.
Right.
Hey, the more the merrier. with this stuff. So, you know, it's like I said, it's completely up to you. You'll just have to bow out during the like the group exercise because you don't have a different group in your class. You know.
Okay, got
So,
it. Thank
yep.
you.
Anyone else in the asynchronous class?
I'm in that class.
Okay. Yeah. So same. You get what I said though?
Yeah.
Okay. I mean, if you can get, if you, wait a minute, how many people's in that class? That's not that many people in that class though, is it?
I saw 4 students. I might try to switch it to this class because
That might put me in a pickle.
initially I saw a different professor name for the synchronized section. So I think if you know you're teaching both classes, why?
Yeah, I'm teaching both classes now.
Yeah, I'll see if I can still switch it.
Oh no, yeah, check. You're not in Professor Dunn. Who's teaching that supply chain class? Is Professor Dunn teaching that supply chain class at 7?
No, it's
Huff.
Hoff.
Okay.
Greg Hoff.
Okay. All right. So yeah, because I was gonna say if she's doing it, you could ask her then, but I'll reach out to her and see if you can switch. But like I said, even if y'all were, that's gonna be tough because I'm kind of struggling because some people may have purposely chosen asynchronous because they couldn't make it, right? You know, so that's kind of why I'm in a little pickle where if you all move, now you only got 2 people in the class, you know?
I'll
So
stay.
thank you. You make it a whole lot easier for me.
No, I don't think I can make it every week. That's why I also chose an asynchronized session. So I'll stay and try to make it whenever possible.
Yeah, that'll be good. And like I said, I think that, I mean, given that I'm doing both classes, I'm just gonna upload a recording to both.
Okay.
To both courses. So yeah, if you can't make it, don't worry about it.
Okay. Thank
All
you.
right. Yep. So any other questions? Is this discussion beneficial? Y'all just ready to get ready for the next class. Hopefully that next class will be more fun than this one, huh? Like this guy's a bore.
Yeah, I think that in the other class there's only 4 of us, so it's pretty small as well.
Yeah, this is weird. This is crazy. Yeah, these programs take a long time to build up, though. Let's see here. So, all right. So in terms of the orientation, again, to go through the orientation. Well, some of you have some of you never used. Well, I would say that. I guess the question is who has used Canvas? No one. All right. So, do you all have questions in terms of Canvas? Okay. Because go ahead.
So I know that there aren't always notifications for when things are due on the calendar, or is that only for like discussion posts that those don't show like you have to submit something by Thursday? But for other assignments, will there be calendar notifications?
Yeah, I'll check that. Let me write that down. Check the calendar.
Actually, this is my first time using this, Canvas. And a couple of days ago, I went through some pages, I read something, then I wanted to come back and see what was that about. Couldn't find it. So it's like, all the information is spread and it takes time to find what is where actually. So this happened to me.
Let me know where it is, because that's one thing we're trying to figure out. I mean, I work with a lot of LMS systems. I like Canvas the most. Man, that's ugly, dude. But I just want to go through this navigation and see if there's anything I want to point out specifically. Remote learning. I would say another thing I would say is, I mean, this and again, this is for graduate programs. I've taught a number of online and face-to-face programs. You know, this whole thing takes discipline, you know, and you know, once you get in and once you start, you know, just plug it wrong, just plug it out, just knock it out, you know, and that way you're not rushing, you know, at 11:30 Sunday night. Yeah, I wake up at 6 o'clock to go to work. You know, it takes discipline. You know, knock it out early in the week. You know, where only thing you gotta do in the weekend is do those peer responses. Now, another thing is don't submit your initial response on Monday and then go on Thursday, you know, whenever you know everything's due, and respond to 2-year peers and then go AWOL for the rest of the week. You know, that's not providing any value. You're just checking a box, right? You're really not learning anything. So I would say, you know, wait, you know, and also don't wait until Sunday, because you're not providing value to your peers, you know, because they're not learning from what you've learned and from your experiences. So just check in. It takes 20 minutes, you know, check in each day, see who's posted, respond to your peers post, you know, and you know, work with them. So technical support, I'm just making sure there's, so discussion guidelines. Oh, also in terms of length, there's no length. Just make sure that you added a substantive response and make sure you're answering a question. Okay. Now don't give me no one line sentence. I will give you a 0. I will do that. I can promise you that much. So again, it's not a check the box thing. You're all in here for a common goal. You're all learning from each other. I learned so much from, you know, people in healthcare, from people within the military who had that military experience. I learned from students every single class. You know, I don't know. I'm terrified of finance, so I learned so much from my students that have finance backgrounds, right? You know, I don't really have that deep of a healthcare experience. I have some healthcare experience, but I learned a lot, you know, in terms of nursing and things like that. You know, so I learned from you as well. So all right, so I think that we're good with that. Syllabus modules. Any questions on module 0? Oh, let me go. And we're going to hit on this one again. So midterm assignment, again, look through that supplier code of conduct. We're going to go through this in detail once we get to that midterm week. Also, for this final project presentation, we're going to get through this. We're going to get through this in more detail. The biggest thing I want to talk about is module 1. Like I said, I'm gonna try to wrap up around 6:30 or 6:45, I should say. That way you all can get ready for y'all's next class. All right, so ethics and global supply chain. So again, this first week is all about discussing ethics. You know, we did go back and add the COVID-19 aspects in there. Again, it's all about global ethics. It's all about, you know, the multicultural environments and things like that, because that's very important. And I talk about that in my conference today, where different demographics, people from different backgrounds, people from different races leads to innovation. You know, and I said that you know, diversity and inclusion is a competitive advantage for organizations. You know, and again, I'll keep saying this too, regardless of your political affiliation. I've had people that were devout Trump fans, and I said diversity and inclusion is indeed going to lead to a competitive advantage. I said, for example, I said your company could be assisting in this effort to build a wall, right? I said, but what if this company found an opportunity in Mexico, right? Now, if you brought someone from Mexico that understands that culture and that can bring that to your board, that can bring that to your leadership, now you've uncovered a multi-million-dollar opportunity within Mexico, right? Now you can expand that to South America, right? So my whole point is it's more than race, and people need to embrace race. If you don't embrace race, you're going to get left behind. And I say that Jack Welch said that if your external environment is changing quicker than your internal environment, your company's doomed, right? And this whole thing about diversity and inclusion, is getting awareness, right? And I think that now people are comfortable in talking about it. It's talking about gender equality, right? It's talking about inviting with people with different sexual orientations, people from different religions, right? Because those are the people that's going to, and especially with social media. I mean, we've seen what happened a couple of weeks ago. Some of those videos have ruined organizations, right? Yeah, that could be considered terrorism. Could be, right? And some of those individuals that were caught on camera, their companies are struggling. They're getting hammered. They're getting hammered in social media, and all of that news is getting published everywhere. Is that socially responsible? Is that ethical? Even if you do believe in President Trump's beliefs, do you believe what happened to the Capitol was ethical? Who disagrees with that? Anyone? Again, check me. Because I want to have that conversation. So that's what we talk about when we talk about ethics. And ethics are seen, through different views. You have some people that believe what happened at the Capitol was perfectly fine. I want to hear the side of the story. It's not me to judge. So why do you believe that? So again, I mean, people are uncomfortable about discussing that, in this type of platform, but it has to be discussed because it's impacting organizations. It's impacting people within your organization. It's impacting people's workforce, right? And that's why I have to talk about it. Anybody have any thoughts on that? It's like, it's a first class. Nah, man. I'm good. Hey, we're here to have a conversation. All right, so module 1, cultural relativism. Again, so cultural relativism. That was a certain culture that went to the Capitol building. That was a certain culture. They had a reasoning behind it. Some people thought that was perfectly fine. You have to understand their culture. It may be nothing wrong with it to some people. You have to understand their culture. And that's what we talk about. So yeah, and this week, this is my favorite. This is like my favorite video. So this is Sherry Heinisch, supply chain queen, the one and only. So yeah, again, follow her, Supply Chain Revolution, IBM partner. She's a big deal in supply chain world. She's probably top 3 in the world, to be honest. So then you'll have a number of ethical of ethical articles.
Excuse me, one question.
Yes.
Because we're also supposed to read a book, The Ethics in Supply Chain Management.
Yes. Oh, why you?
Or I don't know if it's free or not, because I didn't have any access to that. It kept saying that the ebook is in use, and there were some people waiting for getting it.
I'm one of them. I'm one of them because I try to check it. I tried to check it when Chaywan was reached out to me. So let me see here. So she just sent an email at 6 o'clock. So Professor Dunn sent an email at 6:01. Hold on. It was limited to 100 uses. The vendor also only allows us to use the ebook up to 100 times in any given year. This means that the students will not be able to access the version of the ebook until March 3rd, when our 100 uses reset. Hold on. So anytime it references the book, skip it. Skip it, I'll throw it out. Skip it, I'll throw it out. And then if you please refer to Google Scholar to try to find some additional content. Because this is a bookstore. This is a bookstore problem.
We already got the book though.
Hmm?
We already got the book. Can we share it with our classmates?
Yeah. The ebook?
No, I got the paper book, but still.
No, hold on. Hold on. Wait a minute.
Yeah, because I really like the book, well, I've read it, some part of it, and that was really great. So I think we should take advantage of it. Yeah.
So yeah, we'll have to wait. We'll have to wait to see. Like I said, Professor Dunn just sent an email. Professor Dunn just sent an email at 6:01. So hopefully we'll get a response back. We'll get a response back shortly. All right. So also, we're gonna go through. So you'll have a short assignment, and this is kind of a reflection assignment on your current beliefs. To me, I don't want you to read too much. I want you to, you know what? I want you to do this assignment before you actually read the content. Because I want to get your straight opinion without understanding, what the literature says, what the research says, what the examples say, and things like that. Right? So if you haven't done so already, do this assignment first, and then go through the content, and then reflect back. Does that make sense?
Yeah, so then some answers might be wrong, not, mature enough, right?
Exactly. That's what I want.
So how do we get points then?
No, so I want you to, no, what I say, I want your initial perceptions, right? Because this is all subjective. What do you think the role of ethics in running an organization? That's your initial thoughts coming into a corporate social responsibility course. What's your current state thoughts in running an organization, right? How well do you think organizations do in this area, right? You see what I'm saying? It's kind of your current state thoughts. That makes sense?
Yeah, right.
Now, again, that's just, you're not going to get ding points if you read through everything and answer it. But like I said, I just want you to perform that exercise. It's completely optional, but I want you to perform that exercise to say, okay, what are my thoughts just coming in blind to all this content? Now that I read this content, you can add to this assignment to say, okay, after reading this content, I'm going to keep all this, but I'm going to say, okay, my thoughts changed on this, and this, right? Again, this is not for a grade. This is for you and your thoughts and how you think, how you view ethics and social responsibility. Make sense? All right. Again, completely up to you. Do what you want. So here for this individual ethical dilemmas assignment, you should read the content first. But that first reflection assignment, I want you to go in blind with that one, if you can. With this one, you need to read the content and reflect back on some of the content on these scenarios. Okay. And some people ask, do you do both scenarios? Yes, they're short. Just do both scenarios. Okay. They're not that long.
I have a question. For the comments, when you post, are you able to edit them or delete them if you?
Yes.
Okay.
I think yeah, I'm pretty sure that's activated, or we can edit.
Okay.
If not, let me know, and I should be able to add that. But I think you should be able to edit.
Okay, cool. I accidentally double posted on a different class, and I don't think it was enabled, and I was embarrassed, but
Okay.
that's good.
Yeah, watch what you say. Don't put Dr. J's a jerk and post it by accident. All right, don't do that one now. All right, so that's the reputational risk. That's some additional content. Yes. So we'll stop with the first week, because then now we're getting into the second week. So that's what we're going to do this week. Like I said, I want to give you all a few minutes to get ready for your next class. Are there any questions? All right. So again, I look forward to working with you all in these weeks. Whether for you all in the Chewan and Faniva, in the asynchronous class, completely optional whether or not you want to come in here each week. You're more than welcome, because I think the more people that are engaged, the more that everyone's going to learn. We're all in this together. We're all here to learn from each other. And the more that are here, that's going to be here to share our knowledge, the better off we're all going to be. So last thing I'm going to say is, I always say that I'm tough on people. Other people say that I'm easy. I'm easy because I'm easy for people who get the work done. When people get the work done, whenever it's meaningful information, you have no problem, man. You'll get an A, no problem. You'll get 98s, 99s, no problem. Right? But if you slack, if you make excuses, oh, I'm a terror. Okay? As simple as that. And if you communicate, there's excuses after excuse after excuse after excuse, we got a problem. But if you did get the work done and you engage in these discussions, it's gonna be no problem. Like I say, I help people out. There's organizations that reach out to me all the time looking for people. And like I say, I watch what industries you all are working in. All right. So again, think about it. It's an interview. Welcome to your interview. All right. Y'all have a good week.
Thanks, Professor.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you.
Yep. See ya.